So, as you guys know, most of my speeches are about animals because that's what I'm passionate about. This one is no different. The purpose of this speech is to convince you that animal testing is unreliable and should be stopped. It has been proved that 90% of drugs fail in human trials despite being tested on animals. This is because animals have a different makeup than humans and can't catch certain diseases like heart diseases, neurological disorders, like Parkinson's disease and stuff like that. Now, to begin with my first argument, in an article titled Arguments Against Animal Testing, retrieved from crueltyfreeinternational.org on April 2nd, 2019, it is stated that certain rats and mice cannot get certain cancers, neurological disorders, or heart diseases. This means that cancer, heart, and neurological drugs have a low success rate when tested on animals. Only 5% of cancer drugs, 7% of heart drugs, and 8% of neurological drugs are approved after entering clinical trials. Many people believe that testing on animals is a better way to protect the safety of people, animals, and the environment. While that may be true, it does not make sense to test certain drugs on animals because they do not get the same diseases as us, making them unreliable. For my next argument, from an article on navs.org called 5 Reasons to End Animal Testing, retrieved on April 1st, 2019, it states that testing done on animals, such as rats or mice, are only accurate 43% of the time. Out of 48 cancer drugs approved by the European Medicines Agency from 2009 to 2013 to treat 68 types of cancer, out of all 48, almost half showed no survival benefits. This means that they took every single drug that they could test on mice, and basically none of them survived, which is pretty horrifying considering that we're using them on actual people. Once researchers learn more about a certain disease, animals are used to develop and test certain therapies, such as chemotherapy or drugs used to help Parkinson's disease. While this might sound like a good thing, it has been proved that only 50% of DNA responsible for regulating genes in mice could be matched by human DNA. This means that we are only compatible to 50% of what a mouse is. Now for my last argument. In an article retrieved from lonestar.edu called Save the Animals, Stop Animal Testing, it states that animal testing is not predictive to other animals, let alone humans. This means that just because a medication may work on an animal, it does not mean that it will work on a human. This also, if you want to think of it in a different way, it's the same way for people. A certain medication can affect somebody differently than another person. So like, say I take Adderall, if somebody else takes it that isn't supposed to take it, it will affect them differently than it will affect me. Even drugs approved are usually not universally effective due to individual reactions. Many basic cell processes in animals, such as breathing, digestion, movement, sight, hearing, and reproduction, are just like humans and help scientists treat diseases based on how a healthy body works. So they use rats because when you put a drug on a healthy rat or mouse, it shows what it can do, maybe potentially for a human. Even though cells are the same in animals and humans, it is hard to compare the two because brain functions in animals are different than in human beings. This is actually, this is a rat, this is a human. You can see the very big difference there.
That's their brain, right?
Yes. Even though cells are the same in animals and humans, it is very hard to compare the two because brain functions in animals are different than in human beings. Now that I have presented all my arguments to you, I hope that you see that animal testing is unreliable because cancer, heart, and neurology drugs have the lowest success rate. Using rats and mice are only accurate 43% of the time. And animal testing is not predicted to humans. I hope that I have given you ideas of raising awareness in the future.
It is a little piglet, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Now I'll leave you with a quote from Dr. Cliff Berry. Mice are mice and people are people. If we look to the mouse to model every aspect of the disease for man and to model cures, we're just wasting our time. Thank you.
You're welcome.